Sinatra rose to stardom as one of Overwatch's most prestigious stars. He cemented himself as a legend after winning the Overwatch League trophy, a World Championship, and the 2019 MVP award all in the same year. And after taking home every award in the book, he quit the game for good and moved to Valorant. Sinatra's departure is a major blow to Overwatch. He said he straight up just lost passion for the game, and cited Blizzard-designed measures such as hero pools and the 2-2-2 role lock as factors in his decision. He wasn't the first pro to ditch Overwatch in search of greener pastures, and odds are he won't be the last. A few players retired since Sinatra's departure, but a handful of them revealed plans to try their luck in Valorant. Washington Justice DPS Corey Negra and Dallas Fuel DPS Zachary Lombardo both announced that, like the former MVP, they were moving to Riot's shooter. If even the Overwatch League's MVP can drop everything and run in the middle of a season, what's stopping other pros from following suit? And more importantly, can Overwatch survive a player exodus? Overwatch has been around for close to 4 years. Keeping an esport fresh for that length of time can be a challenge, and even after countless new maps, hero launches, and several measures to enforce a fluid meta,
Blizzard is making an effort to avoid meta stagnation across the board.
but the drastic initiatives are still an experiment, and judging by Sinatra's example, they can increase player burnout. Riot Games' Valorant, on the other hand, provides an alternative route and shows a lot of promise as a rising esport. Fan interest about the game is strong, and several players vowed to make careers in Valorant even before its official beta launched. It's a captivating, organically growing esports scene, and it's hard to resist the allure. And Valorant's ironclad potential isn't on the hands of your run-of-the-mill company. Riot has experience in running the prolific League of Legends esports scene, and its numbers are astonishing. The 2019 League World Finals gathered a peak of 44 million concurrent viewers, a metric that, no matter how you look at it, is a sign of success. It's natural for a migration to happen whenever a new esport launches, but the intensity of that movement can vary. In Overwatch's case, it might not just be a flight. It could be an outright exodus, and the game may have a hard time riding out the storm. Overwatch's esports scene depends partly on its path to pro ecosystem. Think of it as a competitive ladder that allows pros to climb their way to the spotlight as they improve, show off their skills, and get picked up by a consolidated team. The Overwatch League frequently drafts players from its Tier 2 scene, showcased in its regional contender series. But the Tier 2 environment is depleting, in part due to a lack of promotion from Blizzard and the increased costs of round-the-world travel throughout the Overwatch League's 2020 season. Several Tier 1 teams have stopped participating in the contender series. 10 of 17 academy teams stopped activities or went into a hiatus in a little over a year. The end result is more and more teams dropping out of the contender series, and the migration drains Overwatch's talent pool. It's also likely that Tier 2 players will flock to Valorant in hopes of better opportunities. In the event of a mass move to Valorant, Overwatch could have a hard time filling in the gaps. Threats of a player exodus aside, the Overwatch League wasn't exactly having an easy time before Valorant came along. As part of its homestand model, teams would travel around the world for a series of home and away games to strengthen teams' connections with local fans. But the coronavirus put a stop to the league's plans. The league is also struggling with dwindling viewership. Despite the audience spike during the May Melee tournament, the 2020 season is averaging a little over 42,000 live viewers compared to last year's average viewership of 164,000 during Stage 1. It could be a symptom of shrinking interest in Overwatch as a whole. Twitch statistics website Sully Gnome shows that viewership on the platform has been on a downward spiral since the league's second season ended. Even though the dataset doesn't account for Overwatch League views on YouTube, the statistics show a clear decline in general interest for the hero shooter. Google search trends also show a clear drop in interest for the game since its launch in 2016. And although Valorant doesn't have a formal esports infrastructure yet, the title shows great promise in that respect. Its simple yet enticing gameplay is esports friendly, and the tactical shooter is backed by Riot Games, who know what they're doing in the space. These two factors provide the game with plenty of room to develop a competitive scene, which has already started with unofficial tournaments before the game is even out of beta. This isn't to say that Overwatch League will end. It still has its loyal, diehard fans, and there's plenty of them. Some of its pros too are devoted to Overwatch or don't feel Valorant's appeal. Poco, one of the Philadelphia Fusion's off-tanks, said that Valorant wasn't for him and he's likely not alone. Despite the several similarities between the two titles, Overwatch and Valorant play differently. One has the frantic chaos of Death Blossoms and Transcendences, while the other feels more like a slow-burn tactical shooter. Blizzard has also openly recognized some of the deficiencies with its Tier 2 environment, and a fix to the issues could be on the way in the short to medium term. John Spector, vice president of the Overwatch Esports, admitted that the path to pro ecosystem is lacking and promised the team is studying potential changes to its model. While the system has produced many exciting OWL players over the past few years, we know that it hasn't met other goals that we all have for this part of the pro scene, Spector said. But just acknowledging the flaws in the system isn't enough. Overwatch's competitive environment as a whole will benefit if that admission evolves into action. The Overwatch League is also loaded with sponsors and investors. Team slots in the Overwatch League belong to a wide range of companies that include esports conglomerates, media groups, and esports organizations, and they're all eager to get a return on their investments. League partners, too, include big-name companies such as Coca-Cola and T-Mobile. And, of course, Activision Blizzard runs the league itself, and the company has its share of resources to inject into the esports scene. With the Overwatch League finals scheduled for August, its ambitious plans for around-the-world travel might need to wait until 2021. This would put tremendous pressure on the league to succeed next year, and it could be hard to make it if its players and viewers have moved on to a different esport. But like a nano-boosted fortified Orisa, Overwatch isn't that easy to kill. A possible player exodus to Valorant probably won't be the end of Overwatch, but it has the potential to cause a lot of harm to its esports environment. A mass migration could leave behind gaps that Overwatch may struggle to fill, and the added competition for players, talent, and viewers could be another cause for concern in one of the Overwatch League's most important seasons.